All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? In the video I'm bringing you today, we are going to talk briefly about Gina Bruno's post from last week, talking about the new changes for the AOE tests. I also have some channel updates for you guys, and I really want some feedback for this. I'm going to be as blunt and honest as possible, like I always try to be, but I need your guys' thoughts. I think this is important. I think this is an important discussion to have, and it kind of coincides with, what they're doing here as well. So if you're listening to this and you have an opinion, please provide feedback, because it's really going to help me. I think this is really important to talk about. So with that being said, let's dive into it. Gina Bruno's post. Hi, everyone. Originally, we had planned to begin these tests next Monday to coincide with Update 27's PC launch. We will now instead be starting the tests in Cyrodiil on Tuesday, September 8th. So a couple weeks later, we will post a full outline of all the planned tests and their start and end dates in the next couple of weeks. In general, you can expect each test to last approximately 1 week. I think this makes a lot of sense. The reason this makes sense is they're already doing changes behind the scenes to improve performance. So when this new patch drops, theoretically, there should be some things improving performance. And so you want to see what the changes were that they did in the PTS on the patch notes, and you want to see what what changes are going to be with the AOE checks. Having these 2 weeks allows you to have a benchmark for what the new performance should be. You'll have a new benchline for what the new performance should be, and then you can do the tests and see how much it improves from there. Because if you just jump right into it, there's so many other changes, there's so many moving parts. I've talked a lot about moving parts in my channel when adjusting builds. This makes complete sense to me. I think this is really good. It's also worth noting that during our initial testing on the PTS, which again was just to ensure everything was functioning properly, we decided to add a couple additional tests involving groups. We'll include the details of these tests in the aforementioned forum post that will be published around the beginning of September. Now, guys, you know that I don't sugarcoat things. I don't sugarcoat things on this channel. I tell you my thoughts. I tell you why I think what I think, and you can agree or disagree with me, and that's just the way we go, and that's cool. Like, I don't get mad at anybody for disagreeing with me. I like to hear your point of view. I am subject to change my mind. I'm a human being. If you guys can provide, I know that's some groundbreaking stuff that I'm not like an Argonian or something, but you can provide your point, and then I can provide mine. And then, if you change my mind, I come out and I'll be like, hey, I was wrong. This person's right. I've done that plenty of times on the channel. We're all human. Some of us are Argonians, but we all make mistakes, So overall, I think this is great. I just want to say this right now. I think that them adding a couple of tests involving groups is great. And for a few reasons. Number one, whether you've been reading the forums, watching different YouTube content creators, watching Twitch streamers, whatever, a lot of the community has come out and said, hey, what if it's group size? What if it's group size? And nobody has come out and disagreed with it, right? So if they're already going to go, onto the live server to conduct 4 weeks of tests, checking out AOE checks to really try to improve it, it only makes sense that they test everything. And so if they're doing tests involving groups, I think that makes so much sense. And honestly, like I told you guys in the past, like one of my concerns about these AOE checks is that they're not going to listen to the community. They're just going to go forward with a change that we're not going to like, because they have done that in the past. And this is something so big that they could really push out a large chunk of their community, and that's not something I want to see. Like I'd like to continue playing this game. I enjoy this game for what it is. If they make a really bad change, people might not want to play the game anymore, which would be a bad business decision for them. So I think them listening to the community, trying to, get feedback for what the changes could be, is very promising. I think this is really good. Like, this goes against my thought. Like I said, it goes against my thought that they might not listen to us, because this is them listening to us. That's my point. And so we'll see what the changes are going to be. We'll see what the tests are. Like I said, I will be on PC, doing these tests. I will be doing my part. I will be providing feedback with you guys with the AOE checks, each week. It'll be important stuff. I want to have those conversations with you guys. Want to get your thoughts as well, because I think the more we talk about this, the more we can potentially get a change that, we would want to see. And, all we all want, guys, is a fully functioning game with, without performance issues. So if I can do my part to help with that, and I can get that ball rolling and get that discussion happening, I'm going to try and do it. So yeah, so I think this is good stuff. It's just getting pushed back. So I got to go get geared up on PC anyways. I got to get some different gear sets. I got to get farming. So If I'm streaming on Twitch, I'll probably be on PC in the next couple weeks, just farming out gear, just chatting. Something a little bit more laid back. I got to get ready. I don't even have full A10 CP on that account. I got to get some stuff done. I got to do some account maintenance. So on the topic of builds, though, I wanted to talk to you guys about this again. I've had this conversation in the past. I want to have it again because it's important. So, as you guys know, I play everything. I know some of them are very powerful. I like to look and see how powerful they are and figure out what adjustments need to be made. I also like to play the weak classes, and I like to figure out what adjustments need to be made there. And I like to have these conversations with you guys because it makes sense from my point of view to know, having played it and having played against it, what each thing's strengths and weaknesses are and where things can be exploited or where things could be buffed. I've been playing Werewolf for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. I haven't played a ton of Werewolf overall, and this is where I've gone against what I've done in the past. I had a strong claim or a strong thought on where Werewolf lies without really playing it, which is my mistake. That's not something that I normally do, but when you see all the buffs that Werewolf got in Greymore and you see all their buffs and debuffs they have on every single skill, you're like, holy shit, this can be really powerful. And I got a lot of feedback from people, and they're like, dude, you're being a hypocrite here. You didn't play it. You don't know what it is. You don't know the strength of it. You don't know its weaknesses. It's not as good as you think it is. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I'm wrong. I need to play this. And I've gotten some negative feedback for playing Werewolf, but like I said, I'm going to play everything, guys. If all of a sudden you see your death recap and you got 5 snipes on your death recap from me, I'm testing shit out. Sorry. So I'm testing Werewolf, and I'm pretty confident in saying that I've found something. I've been playing it. You guys have seen it. If you watch my Twitch stream, I've talked about it a little bit on there. I talked to Zdan. Zdan's running the same thing. If you guys follow if you're watching this channel, you're probably watching Zdan's channel, and if you're not watching Zdan's channel and you're watching mine, you should go watch his channel. Okay. So, I talked to him about the setup that I'm running. He put it together on his side, and so that way we get double testing and we get a little bit more feedback. And although Werewolf isn't great for 1vx, it's going to be a lot better next patch. There's some things coming in that are going to be a lot better. Once that patch goes live, I can test some stuff some more. I will be playing more Werewolf, full concrete thoughts on it. It's not the best for 1vx, but it is extremely powerful for outnumbered group PvP or just group PvP in general. There's a lot of debuffs that they provide. AOE Major Defile and with Minor Defile attached to it is very powerful. With the tankiness that you have, makes Werewolf a very oppressive build, and if you build your group properly, you can shore up a lot of the weaknesses that they have. And so I'm apprehensive about posting a build about a Werewolf because the vast majority of the community doesn't play outnumbered 1vx PvP. Very, very few people are playing solo right now. And if you make a Werewolf build for solo PvP, good for you, because it's not the easiest thing. You guys should absolutely try to play Werewolf solo. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But that doesn't mean that this build isn't busted in a group situation. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be very, very fucking annoying to deal with. And I'm stuck as a content creator. I 100% could post every single build that I find and just leave it out there and just, let the meta land where it lands and get all the views for, when I come up with something busted. But I've always been of the belief that anytime I find something, I share it, and I share it with the community. And I've always liked to have that approach because then it gives me more credibility when I talk about changes. That way you guys know, hey, I'm not just bullshitting. I'm not just lying to you guys about certain things. It allows, us to have just, an honest conversation, which is what I like to do. But at the same time, I also understand the other point of view that, some builds are very oppressive for PvP, and sometimes those adjustments take a long time to go through. And you're promoting a very unplayable, shitty meta when you introduce those builds. So I see both. I see if we talk about it, it's going to suck for a little bit, and hopefully it gets adjusted in the future. If we don't talk about it, it's slowly just going to get abused by more and more people until it eventually gets adjusted. So do you want the band-aid to come off, and just say, hey, like, this is kind of ridiculous? Or do you want to just have it be like Pirate Skeleton from 2 years ago, where more and more people are slowly running Pirate Skeleton until all of a sudden elsewhere everybody's bitching about it, so then everybody's running Pirate Skeleton and it's getting abused, and then it gets nerfed? Do you want to know it now, or do you want to just see more and more and more of it until all of a sudden it coalesces into an adjustment? So that's what I'm asking you guys. And it's not just werewolf, it's not just werewolf. There are multiple builds that are better for group play situations that make group v group very annoying, that aren't very good for 1vx. Like, we can acknowledge that there's different skills and abilities that you use in a group play scenario that you don't need in a solo scenario, and those sorts of mechanics stacked on top of each other make for very unplayable things. And so I don't really participate much in that type of gameplay, so I don't know if I want to introduce a build to that type of gameplay, if that makes sense. So that's why I wanted to talk to you guys. I can see both sides, but I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on this, because you don't realize how strong something is when you release it. Sometimes you do. In this situation, I do. So yeah, I'm going to leave that here. Like I said, please provide any feedback, your thoughts on it and what you think. Because I need to know, because if I encounter something like this again in the future, I want to know where I'm going with this, and what the people that watch my channel would want me to do with it. So now I'm going to end this video. Please let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.